Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Is Mike's Talks and Thoughts here, and today I have a great video for you guys. I'm going to be doing a season 1 review of How I Met Your Father. Now on my channel I really don't have a lot of season or series reviews on my channel, but that is definitely something in the future that I plan on doing a lot more of. Just kind of trying to work out what I'm going to do for those and then bring those out to you guys. I have a lot of series I want to talk about, and then some of these seasons are going to be coming out here in 2022. I definitely want to give season reviews for you guys. I think that would be really, really great. So, you're watching live, I'm watching live, and we can discuss them together. So, I don't know if I'm going to be doing episode to episode. I feel like that might be a little bit too much, but just a season recap or a season review of some shows that I'm watching, and series reviews of shows I've seen the entire series of that you guys will be able to check out. But those will be coming later on in the channel. I definitely have some big plans for those, so hopefully you guys will enjoy that. But today, here I'm going to be getting into How I Met Your Father Season 1. I'm going to be talking about the things that I liked, things that I thought were okay, and things that I disliked. I'm going to be giving my opinion at the end as well, whether you should, catch up and watch, whether you should continue, or whether you should quit out. I'm going to be kind of doing a little bit different of a rating system. I know a lot of people like doing 1 through 10, but at the end I will explain kind of the rating system that I'm going to be doing for my season and series reviews here on the channel. I'm going to be creating 2 different playlists. And before we get started here as well, NvGNick as well, I know is going to be dropping a video on this. I'm not sure if his is going to be out before or after mine, but when his is posted, I will put it in the description below so you can check out both our reviews on How I Met Your Father Season 1. So, of course, How I Met Your Father was in my top 5 most anticipated shows of 2022 because I'm a huge How I Met Your Mother fan, and want to give you guys my thoughts on what I think about either the characters, the plot, or anything else that is intriguing to the story. So So first off, let's start here with the positives for How I Met Your Father. Now, I think there is a good amount of positives here that we can take away from this 10-episode mini-series here from Season 1. And I think the standout on the show, clearly for the characters, is Sophie. I think Sophie is really, really great. I think Hilary Duff is doing a great job portraying Sophie. Sophie is easily my favorite character on the show, and I'm even liking her more than Ted at the point in the season. After Season 1 and Season 1 of How I Met Your Father, I think I like Sophie more than Ted. I think she's just a lot more down-to-earth character, a lot less of a whiner, kind of like what Ted is. I think she's a great character. I think she just has a lot of great interactions with the rest of the characters, and she just does a better overall job portraying the lead of the show. Next here, I want to get into the relationships or friendships on the show. One of my favorite friendships that I like so far is Sid and Jesse. I think that they definitely have the strongest connection among any 2 characters on the show. I don't think it's as strong as a Ted and Marshall per se, like a best friend like that, but I think it's pretty cool how they are so close together. I think that they work really well off of each other, and they have a lot of great scenes together, so I feel like that's another strong point here. Another strong point here, now moving into the relationship side with Sophie, and that was Drew here, played by the infamous Josh Peck here. Josh Peck is such a great actor. Of course, Drake and Josh, one of the classic shows that Josh Peck really got started big on, and he's still bringing it here all these years later on How I Met Your Father. I think Drew is really reminiscent, and they really compare him to Victoria, and someone who was just such an intriguing character. He really does remind me of Victoria, just someone who's like a really good fit with the main character. And so Drew was definitely another highlight of this season. Another big positive from this season was the Easter eggs. I think that they did a really good job with implementing a lot of the Easter eggs throughout the show. Of course, with the apartment building as a callback to Ted and Marshall and Lily's apartment. with Sid and Jesse. Of course, in the final 2 episodes, they really hit hard on these. The captain and Boats are big recurring characters. That is a huge plot point. Definitely here in the last episode, and I just think it's so great, the Easter eggs, and they really didn't overdo it either. They easily could have, put in like too many references, and it just didn't feel like its own thing. I think they did a good job balancing the Easter eggs with, putting enough in to keep the How I Met Your Mother fans, calling back to those moments, while not putting too much in that it's draining the entire show and it feels like it's just a How I Met Your Mother like really wannabe, and just taking all its source material from that. Coupling that, like I said, with the Easter eggs, I really like the setting here. It's the same sort of setting, but it's kind of a new setting. The new bar that they have, I think it's pretty cool. They could have easily, put this back in McLaren's, and then, had a lot of recurring characters there. But I like this new bar. I like this new setting that they have. It's the same setting. It's in New York, but it's new. It's something different. They didn't just take and copy and paste the bar. Like they said, they could have easily used Sid and Jesse's apartment where everyone meets, and then they go down to the McLaren's. It's pretty interesting how Sid has his own bar. They never really show yet like where in the city it's at, because of course, he's got the bar right downstairs. But yeah, I just think that is really, really cool that they have this new setting. So that's definitely a positive from this season. I talked about Sid and Jesse's friendship earlier, but another one of the 2 characters that I really like that have been connecting, I think, is Meredith and Jesse. While I don't know if I really think of them as like a long-term couple, I think that their backstory and their story moving forward is really intriguing, and a couple for really good stories and really good plot points. I think that is another positive that they're doing. But overall, the biggest positive, I think, from the show was the last 2 episodes. I think that really propelled the story spring forward, and it definitely gave a lot of hope for season 2. I think J Street is a great episode. You get to learn a lot more about Jesse and Meredith's relationship. There are some things in that episode that I'm not as big on, but for the most part, I give that episode a thumbs up. I think it really does a great job of building those 2 characters up and building up the relationship that they had. And then finally, timing is everything. Such a great episode, I think. I think you did a really good job, feeling like a season finale. It wasn't like something that, really felt flat. It felt like they went all out for this season finale. They bring back Robin in a cameo, a guest appearance. That was so great. You get McLaren's back. Of course, you see the captain and Becky Boats again in this episode. Carl the bartender's there. Of course, the dialogue jokes with Robin, timing's a bitch. When the captain says, someone stole a pineapple off my porch in '05, of course, referencing Ted. A lot of great callbacks to the original. I think this was the episode to do it in, kind of put them all a lot in the last episode of the season. I think that was really great. You have the plot with Jesse, Meredith, and Sophie. It's sort of this love triangle, and then you have the great reveal at the end of how the captain plays into the story with Ian coming back from Australia. This is perfect timing, because Jesse and Sophie were getting together, but then Jesse gets back with Meredith, and now Sophie has Ian, and it's definitely going to make for some interesting stories moving into season 2. I'm intrigued on how they're both going to react to them being in sort of new relationships here. I think that was definitely the highest point here of season 1, and those are like the high points here of season 1. Now there's a few that I'm going to mention here in the okay section that I think these were just okay points, nothing too crazy. I think that the first few episodes up until Stacy, I think Stacy was another one that's in that positive category. That was probably my 3rd favorite episode of the season. But like the first 5 episodes, I think they're just in the okay category. I think they did a solid job of building some foundation, but they still had a lot to work out at that point. I still really wasn't in love with those episodes, but I'm going to put those in the okay category here for season 1. Some of those a little bit filler. Of course, the Sophie's episode with her mom, I think that was a real filler episode. I also think in other relationships that's kind of in the okay. I think that they're definitely going to build this bond a lot stronger as Valentina and Sophie. I know a lot of people who really do like their relationship as friends. I definitely think though Sid and Jesse have a better friendship than Valentina and Sophie. They just connect more, I feel like. In my opinion, I really hope that they build those two up a lot more and can connect them a lot better, even though they're supposed to be the main friendship on the show, Valentina and Sophie. But for me, they've just been okay in season 1. I really want them to build that bond even stronger in season 2. But now here we are going to be moving into the negatives, I think, from season 1. Now there is a decent amount of negatives here that I have, and yeah, let's get into them. So one of the biggest issues that I have with season 1 is the Sid and Hannah relationship. This just feels like something that's just prone to be disaster. I know they've kind of pushed they're going to be getting married, and then they end up doing like a City Hall wedding at the end of season 1 because they just can't plan this wedding. They just feel so disconnected, with Hannah staying in LA for school and Sid back in New York. I think that they should have really built this bond a lot stronger if they're going to do this long distance relationship, show why they're so connected. But I just feel like they have no chemistry at all. And you really don't get to see the backstory too much about them. They met in school and stuff, but other than that, not much else to that relationship. I think it's definitely a relationship that I could see crumbling here and falling out in season 2. So just not a fan of them. Either one of two things. Either you need to build them up stronger. You gotta give them that Marshall and Louis feel. You gotta make them be a strong relationship. That's what I thought they were gonna be when I saw the first episode. The proposal. That's exactly what happens with Marshall and Louis in the first episode of How I Met Your Mother. Is they have the proposal, but I just feel like they've done it so wrong with them. It was kind of like a backwards what they did with How I Met Your Mother. How I Met Your Mother, Marshall and Louis were all great until the end of season 1. They broke up, and then in this one, Sid and Hannah have been fighting all season, and then the last episode they kind of make amends. So it's like an opposite of a Marshall and Louis, which is not good to have. So I think that they definitely need to either build that relationship stronger or they need to break it off. Another little bit of a negative here is, for me, not being able to connect with a lot of the characters. I mentioned that I really like some of the dynamics that go along with some of the friendships and relationships. But other than like Sophie, Sid and Jesse I really like, and Drew, some of those characters I really have a hard time connecting with. Ellen, Charlie, Hannah, Valentina. Not really the biggest for me. I hope that they get improved for sure in season 2. Another negative here that I have, and this is definitely one that I see a lot on the How I Met Your Father community, is too much Kim Cattrall, too much future Sophie in these episodes. I get that they want to show off a big name like Kim Cattrall. I know they want to utilize her in the series, but it just feels like too much is being pushed to us. We see her every episode. I don't think there was a single episode where she didn't make an appearance in, and most episodes they have multiple appearances. With How I Met Your Mother, we rarely ever see future Ted, and whenever it was future Ted, it would usually be a voiceover, or we'd see his kids. Especially in the first season, we'd see Ted's kids. I believe we never even saw what future Ted looked like until the final episode. So that is just something that I think they definitely need to tone back for season 2. You can continue to have Kim Cattrall, but definitely have a lot more voiceover. I get that they want to incorporate her into the story, but I just feel like it's just too much of seeing her when they should be focusing on the main story at hand, instead of worrying so much about the future. They can definitely do this more in the later seasons when it's about time to wrap it up, and you really need to cut to the future and see what the reactions are going to be towards the end of the story. I think right now it's just a little bit too early. Like I said, just have Kim Cattrall do voiceovers, or just really cut a lot of her scenes out. Just really unnecessary, and it feels like they're just adding them for fill time in the in the show. So yeah, too much Kim Cattrall. Another negative that I have here for season 1 is going to be Drew and Sophie's breakup. This is something that just really didn't feel too believable to me. They end up sort of breaking up because, you know, Drew is just trying to push Sophie to get a better job, or a job that you know, she really wants. I feel like this could have definitely been elaborated on and used better to, you know, as a root cause of the breakup, but you know, they have like a little conversation about it, and then they just kind of end it there. You know, they weren't like officially broken up at that point, but it's kind of like the point where she's like thinking about breaking it off, all because of like a really dumb remark that just for me, just, I don't know, didn't feel like something that 2 or 3 month relationship with someone that she really liked and someone who really didn't do much wrong up until that point would cause so much damage. So yeah, that was definitely a negative. And then my last negative here was episodes 7 and 8. I think The Perfect Shot and Rifka Rebel, I think those were the 2 weakest episodes of the entire season. You know, felt a lot like filler or negative parts in the story. I know a lot of people really like The Perfect Shot because of the ending with Sophie and Jesse. I think that's like the strong point of the episode. Other than that, not much else going for that episode. And then the party, of course, the famous photographer, I believe it was her daughter. That episode just really did not connect with me at all. I think it was the weakest episode of season 1 here. All right, and now here for the ending in the ratings system here. So, like I said at the beginning, I have a little bit different rating system than a lot of other people. You know, they like doing it 1 to 10. I like doing it on like watchability. So my scale is going to go from must watch. These are going to be like the best shows, or the best seasons of shows that you must watch. These are like absolute recommendations from me. These are ones that you gotta see. Some of the best TV out there is going to be in the must watch. Then I have highly recommend. This is going to be ones that I really think are really great, or on the elite tier, that I think a lot of people would enjoy regardless. I have recommend. This is ones that I really do like, but they're not as strongly or as high up as the highly recommend. Then we have recommend it if you like the genre. So if you like sitcoms, dramas, horror, that was going to be in that one. And then the last one I have here is skip. So that is just skip it. It's just not worth your time. And for How I Met Your Father here for season 1, I'm going to give it a recommend if you like the genre here. If you're a big fan of sitcoms and you're a big fan of the original show, I think you will like this one. I think a lot of people wrote this one off too early. You know, for me, I like it so far, but it's not something that I'm like in love with. I think season 2, if they have a strong season 2, then this will definitely be bumped up to recommend here for anyone. So yeah, for me, if you like sitcoms and if you like How I Met Your Mother, I think this one is one that you should definitely catch up with. I think it showed a lot of promise in its season 1 finale. It was easily, to me, the best episode of the season. I think a lot of people would agree with that. And it really ended strong. You know, ended off on a cliffhanger that, you know, you want to know more about. So I definitely feel like recommend if you like How I Met Your Mother and you like sitcoms, this is going to be a show that you want to check out. So yeah, that's going to be it here for the How I Met Your Father season 1 review here. I hope you guys enjoyed this sort of new series here on the channel, video concept that I'm doing here. Doing some more reviews. I hope to push out a lot more on the channel for you guys in the future. Let me know in the comments below if you have anything to add for How I Met Your Father, and let me know what you thought of season 1. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and peace out.